Dos, tres. Welcome to Cafecito con los Escobar. This is a podcast, our first podcast in English. We've been doing this for about 3 sessions, and we've been doing it in Spanish, but we decided to do it in English because we have people, clients that speak English. So we want to do it in English too and offer some suggestions, some good conversation. I hope you like it. I hope you join us. But we're going to be talking about a nice, good subject today. And what is the subject today?
Today we're talking about business with family. So, welcome. We have been looking forward to doing this first podcast in English as well. And so we hope that it'll be informative and helpful to our listeners. So we're talking about business with family. And we're going to specifically talk about three areas. The first one is our own experience as we started working together. Some suggestions that for people who might be thinking about doing starting a business with family. And then the other thing is something people don't think about, and that is doing business with family members when you're trying to purchase a home or you're trying to invest and you're including family members to be able to do it together.
Sounds like a good information, but before we start with the information, a little commercial here. These two amazing cups, our daughter Kathy make them, and they are available in her page,
On her website.
in her website. Maybe we could pass it along to you, help her to graduate by buying her
Graduated. Purchase her cups.
Yeah, by purchasing her cups, they're amazing, and there is a lot of variety of things.
Yeah, there are other things that she sells.
Artistic things too, not just cups and plates. A lot of other things that you love them.
Okay.
Thank you for the commercial.
Well, so just a little background on us. So we've been married for 39 years, and we've had 6 kids. And I think one of the things that we have really realized is that during the raising of our 6 kids, we've been able to. It's really been the giving us the opportunity for our marriage to make decisions, to raise them and be on the same page, to be able to because you have one way of working with our kids, and I have another way of working with our kids. And when our kids were little, sometimes we clashed on which way to go. And so a lot of conversations about, okay, what do we do? What is our goal? How do we get there? And sometimes you had one way to get there, I had another way to get there, but always with the goal in mind. And that has always been a really good learning experience. And then we had the opportunity during those years. We've always been coaching families and coaching marriages in specific. And that's been a great opportunity for us to grow as well, because we've worked together not only in preparing curriculum and then giving classes, but also in following what we teach, right? Because we've had several conversations where we've been in the middle of a discussion and we say, okay, what do we teach though? What do we teach? And so going back to those things, and very fundamental and very aligned with our values and our beliefs. And so that's been a really good experience. But when we went into business together, we thought it was going to be a piece of cake because we've had all of these other experiences, right? And then at first, we decided that we were going to kind of duplicate the effort, right? I got my license. You've been working in it for over 30 years, and I got my license, and I said, okay, well, I guess I'm going to be doing the same thing you're doing. But we found that that was not really working in my gifts and talents, and you had areas that you didn't like to work in because they weren't really wired to your gifts and talents. And so finding all of that process, I think one of the most important things for us has been finding what we want to do within the business. And of course, there's always going to be things that you don't want to do, right? But in the most part, what we lean into is the things that we really like to do and we are good at. So you're the one that goes out there and works with the clients, and I'm kind of in the background doing the business and the event planning and the marketing and finances and things like that, and
Yep.
you're and you're out there negotiating and working with the clients and doing things like that. So it's been really good. I mean, we've had quite a few discussions in the process,
They're
right?
all your fault, by the way.
Of course they are. That's been one of the discussions. So, but it's been good. It's been a learning experience, and I think that
Yeah.
that's one of the things that we've been able to take away from it, the learning experience.
Yeah, it's been challenging in some occasions, and I think part of my challenge was to let go of all of the control that I had when I was doing it alone. And when you join us, you join me. We do have an assistant now too. When you join us, or when you join me in the business, I thought I was gonna get a good assistant, but it turned out to be that you had your own opinions and your own ways to do things, and that kind of
Clash with
clashed
yours.
with me. So letting the first challenge was to let go of things that I had control over, absolute control, and allow you not only to give me your input or to do things in a different way that I did it, and finally free me to do other things. So it was a process, but it was good. So, and I think one of the main things that showed up at that time was the fact that we needed to communicate more. So communication was a very important factor in reaching to a point that even though we didn't agree completely on the point that we were trying to solve, but we met in the middle, and then we made a decision and then followed through with that decision. So first of all, communication, get to a point that you both agree, and then follow through the agreement so that there is no hard feelings. Well, with you, you said you were going to do it, and then sometimes it happened, but you didn't do it. So that creates more issues in the process. But yeah, it was challenging, and it was an opportunity to grow. I think not only in our relationship as a partners in the business, but also as a marriage couple,
Yeah.
because it could be disturbing if you don't solve those issues.
Right. Yeah, I think that's really important. The clarity of as much clarity as you can give. Somebody says clarity is caring, right? So if you're clear on the front end, then there's less confusion as you go. And so, and I agree with you. Sometimes those, I mean, we're not going to just shut off. We're the same people, and that's one of the challenges. We're the same people who are in business together, who are also married, who are also parents, and so those things all mesh together,
Yeah.
and one affects the other. And so that's one of the things that we really need to be. If anybody's thinking about going into business with a family member, it's important to know that, right? And to be clear from the beginning, and everybody agree.
Yeah.
But the other thing I think is that it's such a great opportunity to work with family.
Yes.
So it's an amazing opportunity because we know each other, we know what we're thinking, we have the opportunity to talk about things on a deeper level because we know each other so well. So I think that's really good, and that's really important.
Yeah, one important thing, or maybe two, is allow grace to flow in your relationship, business or marriage relationship, because we're gonna fail. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. But then, if you allow your partner, your friend, your brother, sister that you are in relationship with, it allow them to fail and give grace to the failing, to the mistake. That's awesome. So mercy is amazing in a relationship, and start all over again. If you don't follow through to something that you promised, talk about it and start all over again, and allow that to fuel your relationship. Always trying your best to commit and to follow through. But if for something doesn't go the way that you expected or we expected, so allow some grace, and that will move you forward in any relationship. So
Yeah, that's really important. I think one of the things that I struggled with, especially in the beginning, still do sometimes, but that is giving the benefit of the doubt. Because when we establish something,
Mm-hmm.
and then if it changes, or if I don't know that something changed, again, you're in the front, so things are happening quickly, and if I don't know what's going on in the background, I feel like it's an extra mile to give you the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, well, he
Mm-hmm.
forgot to tell me, or he forgot to this and that. And so those are really important things. But it's interesting because that's in the business, but that's really in all of
In
life,
all of
in
life. Yeah.
every relationship. We want to be able to give the
Mm-hmm.
benefit of the doubt in order to be able to continue with
Forgiveness
yeah,
is an
forgiveness
amazing
is
thing.
key.
Grace
Yeah.
and forgiveness go alone in any relationship,
Hmm.
and also keeping some level of accountability, because all of those three things are important,
Hmm.
and it allows us to move forward without any issues, without any resentment, and keep going to achieve the goal that you guys have set up.
Hmm.
So it's very important.
Yeah, and then the third thing that we want to talk about in relation to business with family is these opportunities that people have to be able to buy a home or to invest with family members. Whether
Mm-hmm.
sometimes parents may not have had the opportunity to buy their own home, and then their kids have the opportunity, and so they go into it together, trying to buy a home. The National Association of Realtors has put out a information that right now 17% of buyers are multi-generational
Mm-hmm.
families that have come in together to purchase a home. And we have had so many
Oh.
families that we know that have done that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And in that process, and I think that's wonderful. Long before NAR came up with this information, we've been working with families because Latinos are very family oriented.
Yes.
We believe in the unity of the family. We believe in working with each other, and that progress happens in in the village, right, in the family, and
Mm-hmm.
together we can move forward a lot faster than if we were doing it individually. So in your experience, when you've been working with families, what have been some of the key issues that people have had, questions that people might have that sometimes they go unanswered if they don't ask the question. But what have you seen as the concern, and what are the facts?
One of the concerns, both the parents or the son or the daughter who is co-signing, and by the way, it's an amazing thing when you receive a call from a daughter or
Hmm.
a son who says, my dad, my mom never was able to buy a home because they invested all their money to raise us, to
Hmm.
send us to school, and we
Hmm.
want to make their dream come true now. And
Hmm.
that's the most amazing thing. That those are calls that I love to receive, and then so the our part is to inform them what's going to happen. And one of the main concerns from parents and children is, will I will I hurt the possibility of my son or my daughter to buy a home in the future, because they think that if he co-signs for me or for us, she or he will not be able to buy a home because he's already has this mortgage payment on her records, his records, and then it's going to affect their pre-approval or their qualification to buy a home. And the answer is no. There are a couple of things that we have that the process we have to follow in the process. And first of all is, if the parents are the owners of the home, all the payments have to come from their account. And the payments are going to be for 12 months, consecutive months, without late payments. After 12 months of the payment coming out from the parents' account, the son or the daughter or the friend or family member is able to buy their own home with the same benefit of a first-time home buyer.
Hmm.
Lower down payment, uh, um, any program that applies to a first-time home buyer applies to them as they didn't have any home.
Hmm.
So that's a very relieving information when the parents talk to us, or the sons and daughters talk to us, because they feel like I can help wait 1 year, and then I go buy my home, my building, and that is not going to affect me. So same benefits as first-time home buyer. And that's what communication. Then again, going back to communication is so important. Information is so important because at that point, a decision could be made, and freely and not knowing that it's not going to affect anybody. And the dreams of the parents or the mom or the aunt is going to be fulfilled. And it's amazing when they receive the keys at the closing table.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, speaking of investing, we do have a workshop coming up. That's going to be July 12th. It's a Saturday. We'll have breakfast. And it is in Spanish, this one. We will be having one in English soon. We actually will have a series of classes coming up in English, probably on Zoom. And it will be coming up as fix and flips. There is a class that we're going to have for 3 homes in 3 years. So watch out for those classes. They're going to be coming up pretty soon. We do have one that we find especially, this one's going to be in English, and that's Quantum Leap. And that's going to be August 17th. It's going to be in Rockford. It's in person.
Breakfast will be offered again.
Yeah. And then that's going to be for ages 15 to 20 to 30. It's an unusual class, but this is a class about goal setting and thinking about your future. So if you or someone you love is in this age range and would like to really sit down and think about, we talked about this in one of our podcasts in Spanish, that we didn't have much vision for our lives when we were in high school, not knowing what we wanted to study, not knowing where we wanted to go, not knowing what we wanted to be. And so this is an opportunity. It's not a real estate class. It's a class about vision and planning, finances. How do you set your finances? If we knew then what we know now, and we would love to share that with young people from 15 to 30 years old in English in Rockford, and we'll have the link so that you can register for that if that is something that you're interested in.
The class in 3 homes in 3 years, that's an amazing class, but requires some planning from the very beginning, from the very first home. So if you haven't bought your first home, or if you are in your first home, join us. It will be such an amazing information that you will receive, and you will put it in practice and start building your wealth through real estate. It's the most convenient and easiest way to build wealth.
So if you're bilingual, or you know somebody who's Spanish speaking who could make it, it's Saturday, and it's on July 12th. It's from 10 to 12, and it'll be in Schaumburg. So you're very welcome if you're bilingual. But however, if you're not, and it's something that you're interested in, give us a call, and we can go have coffee.
Yes.
And we can talk about this idea of having 3 homes in 3 years. It's an amazing concept. So we'll see you next time. I hope you found this first podcast informative and helpful, because we're here to give you the information that you need to make the decision that's best for you.
Thank you again, and looking forward to seeing you next time.